Hello, you guys. Welcome. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to tell you all the things today. I am going to pour myself a glass. I waited to be with you all. I hope that you brought a beautiful beverage. Thank you. Thank you, Cree. And, whatever it is, cacao, whatever you're into, kombucha, sparkling water. I would like some champagne today because it's been a little bit of a week. I'm going to talk to you about some amazing things. First, I want to say hello to all of you that could make it live. Um, and hello to everyone that is new. I know most people can't make the live. That's okay. But I do see there is someone new. I believe that it's Jessica Jones. But if it's Austin, then Jessica. I was like, maybe it's Austin, but maybe Austin also is a female name. But Jessica, nice to meet you. I think this is our first call together. Cree, hello. I see you're at work. Joining us, Taylor, welcome. Terry, it's been so long. Nice to see you. Heather, hello. Abby, hi. Mac, hello. Happy Friday. Happy Venus Day. Happy Venus and Taurus. Holy shit, we have so much to talk about. So, first, welcome. Cheers. I'm so excited. Mm. Okay, so this is something that I wanted to do for a really long time. So, I'm just gonna like come out the gate and tell you. Actually, maybe I should wait for more people to come. I'm gonna wait like 5 minutes because I'm like the kid at Christmas that has something for you that's like, can we open it? And the mom's like, no, we have to eat first. It's not time. But I really want to tell you, but I am gonna wait just in case some more people come in. Michelle, welcome. Happy Friday. So, first of all, there's some big energy happening. And so we've had a rough go this year. Um, I don't want to say rough go, but there's been some things that have been happening that are initiating us to become more sovereign, more energetically attuned to our truth frequency. And it's not always comfortable. It's most of the times uncomfortable. And so that is what has been going on. But now I think that we are moving into a bright new season, and Taurus, or Venus and Taurus is part of it, and then Jupiter and Cancer is going to be a huge part of it. So I kind of want to talk about those, and then Saturn moving into Aries. So Saturn and Jupiter are really big planets, and they don't change signs very often. And so we're going to be feeling this influence for a year or 2 years, um, which is wonderful. But we all have personal transits and then universal transits, as you know. So there's things that are always going to be happening. I like astrology because I believe that they happen for us. I really believe that things happen to knock at the door and initiate some movement where maybe we are busy. And I like to do this sort of style, champagne channeling, because I want to make this type of stuff more approachable and digestible and accessible. And we can do big work and we can have great healing in a moment like this. We could be sitting around having a glass of wine, and all of a sudden, the thing we need to hear clicks and our life begins to change. We don't always have to have things so sacred. I think being human is sacred. And so, thank you for trusting me. Thank you for showing up. And now I'm going to tell you because I feel like it's been 5 minutes. No, I am just so excited. So I am going to start telling y'all. Whoever's late, I'll tell them too. But so the invitation to me is an energy. And when we're little, think about like what an invitation was when you were like 5 or 7. You're like, I got invited to a birthday party. And it was super exciting. Like I got an invitation, whether that's it's at school or it came in the mail, and you're like, oh, I get to what? Like I get to eat cake. There's probably balloons, maybe animals that I get to pet. Like it's this excitement in your body, and you are invited. It's a big deal. And then we get a little bit older, and then we start to realize I see something's going on and I wasn't invited. And then pain starts to come in a little bit about, oh, sometimes I'm invited, sometimes I'm not. This is maturity. This is growing up. This happens to all of us, and we need to deal with it. We need to manage that. And then we get a little bit older and we start realizing, like, I can throw my own party and I can invite people. And then we have to navigate, wait, am I going to invite this person because I don't want their feelings to be hurt? Probably. because I haven't matured past the point of emotionally laboring or my codependence. So I want everyone to feel included because I certainly remember what it was like to not be included. So we start inviting everybody, and then we feel validated because we have so many friends that have come to our party that we invited. Yay. And then we get a little bit older, and then we start having a little bit more boundaries, and we're like, God, it's a lot of work. I'm exhausted. So I'm just going to invite my core group of friends. Great. Then we get a little bit older and invitations start to come to us, and we're like, okay, this is fun. Like I get to go relax. I get to enjoy myself, and I get to maybe worry about what I'm going to wear. What can I bring? Then we get a little bit older and we start getting invited places, and we're like, I really don't want any more invitations. I really don't want any more friends. I am busy. I am tired. I know that they're going to have cheap wine that I'm allergic to, and I don't have the time to bring anything. And it's like, what happened? What happened with our relationship with invitation? And it's always involving other people, and it's always involving obligation, and it's kind of a mess. And I started thinking about, what if we take back our power with the word invitation? And what if we don't invite anyone ever again out of obligation? Don't ever emotionally labor for anybody else about their response to you and what you want for yourself. And then also, with that same emotional maturity, don't think that it's personal if you're not invited, because somebody else is doing the work, and we don't know what we don't know what our energy together creates. And so to assume we do is just from our lens. And so no matter what relationship you're in, your energy and the other person's energy creates something. And if this person's growing, then that middle ingredient, which is the relationship, changes. Same with you. And so we have to give people space to like trust people in their decisions so we can trust ourselves in our decisions. And why don't we start thinking about inviting ourselves to the next chapter of our life? And I want you to plan this as if it was your wedding. Like, I want you to think about the aroma. I want you to think about the texture as if it was a fabric. I want to think about the next season influenced by Venus and Taurus, which is all about the five senses, and say, I'm inviting me into a new energy. I'm inviting me into the next chapter, season, phase of my life. And what does that include? And what am I going to do to make sure my party or life goes as planned? And you will know who's not invited. You know who's going to bring the drama. You know who's going to be critical. You know this. You know who's going to disagree. You know who's going to bring attention to themselves in a way that's distracting. This is the same as your life, but we don't think about it that way. And so we feel tied to relationships, and we feel tied to things that take away from our fucking party. And so we have to realize, like, wait, I get to create my life. I get to feel beautiful. I get to make the choices. And so I want to, if you guys remember, I did The Crown, and The Crown is intuitive development, and it was intuitive development that was separate, and then it got enveloped into the Diamond Codes. And the Diamond Codes is a membership, it's an ongoing membership. Most of you guys are in it. If you're not, it's amazing. And so in that group, every month we meet and we come and we do some sort of intuitive development. My friend who's a medium, Jen Costa, helps, and it's psychic development, mediumship development, but really it is all about coming home to your own senses. And so now I want to fold in this, which is the invitation, which will be a happy hour once a month, and it's going to be recorded. And it's going to be recorded because this segment, I haven't decided if this, I'm going to see how this goes today, but this segment will be something that's recorded because I will be channeling and downloading what is present in that month's energy about an invitation for what we need to move deeper into. And then there will be a segment where you can ask a question and have hot seat coaching or mentorship, and that you can either bring your voice on or you can put it into the comments. And this will be something that will go onto the Champagne Channeling podcast. And so if you are in the Diamond Codes, this is already something you get. And if you signed up for this today for $33.30, you will get invited to the next 6 months of these. So you just invested from July to December to come to once a month, this type of call where we have a drink, whatever you want to drink, and just say, hey, I'm going to celebrate myself. And I'm also going to be in an environment where I can be inspired and initiated and perhaps inebriated. I don't care. But all I want to do is bring you home to yourself in a way that's like, I'm going to have happy hour differently now. I'm not going to go vent. I'm not going to go bitch. I'm actually going to put myself in a space where my heart feels safe and expanded. My channel is awakened and accessing the highest portal of wisdom. And I get to walk up to the door and take the invitation of the next chapter of myself. And I just could not wait to talk about it. As you can see, I'm very excited because these are the types of conversations that change us. Staying in this energy, even if it's just once a month, and you paid your $33, or you're in the diamond codes, or you're in mentorship with me. And you know if you've been in it, or you know if you've been doing the work, or you know if you've been working with anybody else that's in this type of energy, that this is what it requires. It requires this constant being in conversations that are expansive and being in conversations that aren't, but how? But how? And we learn the how is within us. And I know that sounds like a Hallmark card, but it truly is the way, because in human design, I'm a 3 line. So I like to do things like, I don't know, 200 times before I learn them. But then when I learn them, I really know them well, and then I teach about it. But why we want how is because we want to feel like we're progressing forward. But really, we're only progressing forward when we listen to ourselves. And so as we take a how to, and as we look at somebody and we're like, I admire you and I want to see how you did it. I want you to tell me everything so then I can do it. And then as we do what they did, thinking we're going to get the result that they did, although we're not like them, we learn, well, I wouldn't have done it that way. Well, I'm going to actually do it this way. I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to pivot here. And then by the end of it, we're somewhere, but we're not where they were because we're different. And so really some of the how-tos, once you get multiple of them, are just pathways for you to find your how. And we can bypass that. We can really quantum leap and shorten the journey and the investment if we sit in energy that is expansive for our hearts, safe for our hearts. And so right now Venus moved into Taurus, and what Venus is it is our heart, but it's also our relationships. It's anything that is about the human senses. It's about coming home. It represents the second house in astrology. And when Venus is home there. And so when Venus is home there, this is time to look around at your environment and think like, what is working for me as it pertains to my own safety and security? What makes me feel beautiful? What makes me feel alive? And try to do a little bit more of that. But then Jupiter expands everything it touches. Jupiter is going to move into Cancer. I am going to talk a little crazy about Cancer because I am a Cancer. I'm a Cancer sun, and I have Mars and Mercury conjunct in Cancer, which is a big spicy placement. Um, all in the 12th house, which is of the spirit world. So it makes sense that I'm like, let me be maternal in the spirit world and lead you and nurture you in a way to know your spirit as best as you possibly can. But Mars and Mercury together make me say some spicy stuff that usually I regret for like 3 days and then forget and get over it. But still. So what Cancer is it's such a duality because it has a hard shell and it has very, very intense claws, but it has a really soft inside. It lives on the land, but then it lives in the water. It wants to go that way, but it walks sideways. Like it's very, very confusing. But what it really, really seeks is safety. It seeks safety. And so when Jupiter is in Cancer, what is being highlighted is I want to expand your capacity to be safe within your own self. It is you have to look where Cancer is in your chart, but it is an invitation to look at that area and say, how can I expand more about my own needs and not look outside of me? And if I do so, it is going to be wildly expansive for you and everything that you desire in life. Because the more that we come home to ourselves, the more that we're in our truth frequency, which I think is the heart frequency, the more that we are magnetic for everything that we desire. That's what success is. It's not money because everybody has a different idea of success. Abundance is very different for everybody. But if you can get home within your heart, you'll know what that is. And it will just start falling into your life the more honest you are. And you're going to be more honest in the season because Cancer's maternal, it's the mother. And then you got Saturn, which is, and they're in a square because they're in the ninth and the well, my ninth and 12th house. Are they in a square? I feel like they're in a square. Now I'm good. Now don't quote me on that. So Saturn is in Aries, and Aries is the number one in the zodiac. It's the initiator. It goes first. It does not care. I will go first. I am proud to be here. I am. I am. I am. I am. And Saturn is about, like I say, it's daddy karma. So Saturn brings the lessons and the maturity. So think about maturity and lessons being brought to you to make sure that you grow up and know how to take care of yourself better, know how to have boundaries better with Aries energy. You're going to be spicy in Cancer claws. So you are going to have such alertness on this person is not for me anymore. I do not like how I'm being treated. I do not like your tone. I don't want to do this anymore. And you have to listen because everywhere where you have your voice, you will expand. Everywhere that you take better care of yourself, you will expand. Everywhere that you go inward and let your heart speak to you, you will expand. And so, do you have the courage? Like, are you going to accept the invitation to the next layer of you by saying, I'm going to prioritize myself and I'm not selfish and I'm not narcissistic and I'm worth it. I came here for me, my evolution, my journey. Like that sounds good when I'm saying it, but in the day to day, it's terrifying. And you will fall into old patterns because it's easy, it's convenient, it's predictable, it's stagnant, it's all knowing. But do you want to know? Or do you want to take a risk and invite yourself into a chapter of your life that could be the best chapter of your life? That takes initiation. You like write it down. What could possibly, I don't know, what could be possible for you? You have to play. You have to be willing to play and come home and nurture that part of you, the little girl in you, and say, can we play what if? Can we? Like, can we play what if and see? And then if you guys, this is something I also was going to bring up. A lot of this back end work is done in Bloom. And right now we're on our third call. There's one more call tomorrow morning. But Bloom started off as an invisible offer. It's 4 calls. And the work that's happening in Bloom, I have so many people telling me how this is changing them because it's about blooming. It's about saying like I'm actually going to let myself break free of the bud. That started as an invisible offer and then it has gone up to 222 or yeah, $222. If you guys want it, it's all the recordings. I will offer that to you for $111 and it's 4 calls and it is worth it. It's so worth it. It is so good. Um, and then I also am anyone that's in this call and those that will be offered till Monday. And then also if you want to join the diamond codes, it's $222 a month, but it would be $111 a month if you want to join. You have till Monday, just because that would be accepting the invitation. That would be accepting the invitation to the next chapter of you because you're going to be in the work. And the diamond codes is amazing. Ask anybody in this room. So I want to tell you guys something that I do sometimes, and it always brings in something crazy. So we get what is it? We get not consistent. We get addicted to our routine. So think about like the grocery store you go to. Think about all the stuff you do. Like you get addicted to your routine. Your routine is energy. And so as you go through your day, you have an energetic memory. It's like a muscle memory. And it doesn't really leave room for magic. It doesn't really leave room for opportunity. And so I want you to invite yourself to try over the next week, like you can pick a day, you can pick a morning and say, I'm going to do everything different. I'm going to drive a different way to work. I'm going to go to a different grocery store. If I If I start on the produce, like if you start on the right side of the store and go to the left side, start on the left side and go to the right side. I want you to try to do things differently. If you drink coffee, try to drink tea. You know, like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But I want you to do this because I want you to see how things change when you subtly change just little things. Little things. Make room for things to be different. Because I think that we've gotten too overly stimulated and we're too busy. We don't have time for a little talk. We don't have the energy to reply. And I'm guilty of this, you guys. Like I'm right there. I had like there's so many messages and there's so many emails and there's so many DMs and da, 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 da. But sometimes we just have to push all that away and say, I have to lead myself differently. You know when you go on vacation, like you know how you live here, and then you go on vacation and there's a different creamer in the morning. You're having coffee different than you've ever had. You're going on a walk. You're walking way more than you ever would. You pop into a store and you're just looking at everything really slowly instead of just like rushing. Do that. Try to invite yourself into a new way so you can break out of your conditioning because doing what you do will keep giving you what you've gotten. Does that make sense? And it's little, it's the littlest things. And the hardest thing is like slowing down to actually allow yourself to see a human. We're so busy. We get annoyed. Like, even when I'm walking, I don't want to say hi. But the other day, I was walking just in my neighborhood and somebody was walking a dog and they were like, "How are you doing today?" Like, there's a part of me that's like, mm-mm. And then I just was like, "I'm doing good." And I stopped. I really did stop. And I looked at him and I was like, genuinely connecting with him in his eyes and his presence. And I was like, I might be the only person he's talked to all week. And I gave him my energy. We don't do that anymore because our technology has taken us away from the human connection. And the human connection is where magic is. That is where energy creates beautiful things for us. And if you are focusing on expanding yourself and putting yourself in environments like this where it's a positive, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, then you could be potentially the medicine for somebody. Just a hello, just a simple hello. And that's so big. And when I first started mediumship, that's how mediumship moved through me, is through service for people. I would hear to do something for someone. I would hear to buy something for someone. I would hear to get the groceries for the person in front of me. I would hear to buy. One time I was at a store and I was like, buy her roses, like buy her a bouquet. I was buying myself a bouquet. And so this woman was checking out and I just bought a second bouquet and then she was checking out another lane and I went up and I gave her the bouquet and she was so emotional and she had gotten diagnosed with cancer and she told me all about it and she was just having a really hard time and she was like, but this just made me feel so much better. And I'm like, holy shit, like stuff like that. Like just listen to your heart will speak to you. Your heart is generous, your heart is giving. And we've gotten so burdened by generosity because of environments where people take too much. They want more. We're afraid to give a little because then they're just gonna want more and want free and want your time and to be honest, that's usually a lesson in just poor boundaries. We attract things like that when we don't know how to say no. We attract things like that when we don't want to hurt people's feelings. But I think that it's really important to understand like the more that you expand your energy in the way of, I came here for a reason. I came here to truly awaken. I came here to be more than just day to day getting through it. The universe will use you for good. Even if it's something like, one of my favorite things is when little girls look at me, like when I'm all dressed up and they're like, because I remember being a little girl and looking at like grown women that would have a dress on or just look pretty to me and be like, I can't wait till I can wear lipstick. I can't wait till I can like wear pretty dresses. And so when even the way that I aesthetically look, and this is very Venus first house, but like we all have our things, how we garden, how we cook. Like when you make something beautiful for somebody, or delicious, I should, and everything's not beautiful. I just say beautiful. Everything's beautiful. But like whatever it is that you do, that is your medicine and your magic, and you change people by it. And so we have to start to prioritize it and make it important to us so then other people can remember who they are and enjoy our expression and what we are. I've seen this thing kind of blowing up. Pattern interruption is where growth happens. Yes, Alex, welcome. I didn't get to say hello to you. You guys are the best. I love it. Sometimes when I read things back though, I'm like, what was I saying when that message came through? I've witnessed people channel like and be able to read at the same time. I'm not there yet. The dyslexia is still alive. I would just start mixing the words and it would distract me. Okay, so let me just sit with you guys for a second. Feel free to take a drink or just hug yourself and just think of this Venus day. Every Friday, you know, Venus day of just like, I am a beautiful being and I'm prioritizing taking a moment, even if it's 30 minutes, even if it's just 60 minutes, whatever it is, to celebrate myself, celebrate my week, celebrate my constant questioning of there has to be more, you know, like this can't be it. Like that's my whole theme. Like this can't be it. This can't be it. There's more, there's more, there's more. But I think that it's just because of the unveiling of the soul through the human experience is so complex. And it will be complex as long as we're here because we're human. That's the part. That's what it is. It's about duality. It's about learning. It's about growing through relationships. So I want you guys to think about Saturn for a second. And if Saturn is coming into our lives in a way that's like, it's time to grow up. And it's time to grow up in the areas of your chart. You're going to have to look at your house. And if you don't know how to do that, that's another thing that's in the diamond codes. There's an astrology section. But if you really think about like Saturn is this maturity that's inevitable. Any time in your life in the past where you've gone through something really hard, you have matured at the end of it. But during it, you dig your heels in, you feel victimized, you feel like, why is this happening? And then all of a sudden, at some point, you're like, that had to happen because it gave me this. Well, with Aries energy, I think that we can just prepare that it's going to be intense. And so if intensity, like if you think of intensity in your body, what that feels like, contraction, stomach ache, pressure in the chest, closed throat chakra, perhaps pain in the spine or back, I'm feeling like those are the things that are going to potentially happen. But if we move forward saying, I'm feeling this, oh, Aries must be involved. What is he trying to teach me? Think of how powerful we can be if we start thinking as every physical symptom and every emotion that comes up for us that's uncomfortable as a knock at the door, you need to look deeper. We won't be victimized anymore. We will say, I need to take a moment for myself and I need to lean into this and say, well, first we need to breathe because we need to get ourselves back, sort of our soul back online, and we need to ask ourselves, what could possibly be the lesson in this? Why would I attract betrayal? Why would I attract rejection? Why would I attract this type of scarcity? Or why would I be blindsided by this? And realize this is a human thing. And there are not people that escape these things. There are people that lie about them and make their life look perfect, but there's no human that escapes pain, grief, betrayal, messiness, family drama. There's not one. There's just the people that keep it quiet. So if you realize that what is coming up for you is part of your journey and there's a lesson, you will navigate it so much quicker. And that's what emotional maturity is. It's saying, I'm not going to be victimized by this. And I might have to work on it a little harder because your nervous system is going to be like, no, listen to me. I was formed to protect you. Like, what are you doing? And you're gonna think like you might have an anxiety attack. You might really have some things that are like, like I don't know what's right and what's up and what's down and who's who. But that's why you want to surround yourself with people that are like, I've been there. Like, breathe. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna get to tomorrow and you're gonna get to next week and you're gonna get to next month and you're going to be better for it because you're doing the work that everyone else is avoiding. So just know that Aries energy is not going to be like, "Hey, so I was thinking that maybe we could do some inner child work maybe on Tuesday if you're free. Thursday's fine. It's okay. Maybe we could color." That's not is at all how it's going to be. It's going to be abrupt. And at the end of it, guess what Aries gets? Authority. I have like goosebumps as I say that. Sovereign authority. I know who I am. I know my boundaries. I know what I accept. I know what I do not accept. I know my deal breakers. I'm not afraid to walk away. I'm okay with being alone, and I'm a bad bitch. Like, Aries energy is potent and sexy and powerful. And so don't be afraid of it. I mean, we're not all going to show up that way because of our Aries placements. Max got like a ton in the first house. So I was embodying Mac when I was speaking that way. Mac is the redhead to my left. I guess I don't know if she's to my left in all of your screens. I don't know how that works. But anyway, wave, Mac. Mac's got some fiery Aries energy. So I just want you guys to realize that's gonna your telltale sign of Aries teaching you a lesson is going to hit your nervous system, hit your body, hit your throat chakra, hit your chest, hit your gut, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And it is your responsibility to say, this is my lesson. And then Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer, is going to be a little bit different, but I think what is going to happen, even though codependency usually correlates with Libra energy, I think codependency, as far as like the mother wound, comes up a lot in Cancer because it activates our ability to care for people. And so we will have to look at, am I caring for them more than myself? Does their well-being and comfort matter more than mine? And that is going to be hard because we've gotten so much attention for being that way. Like even in our significant relationships, like, she's so selfless. Well, being selfless is pretty shitty. Don't we want to be self-full? And so this is going to come in a different way, and it is going to be a more inward process, and this is where we want to write a lot. I think that you're really going to be able to expand in this Jupiter in Cancer if you write, like, really, really, really allow yourself to feel into the emotions where Cancer is. I think Allison's driving right now. Allison, like, you're a rising Cancer. So Cancer in your first house, such a season of deep nourishment around your identity. Like, coming into who you are and not letting anything stop you from that expansion of self. But we all have different areas. Let's see. I can't it says question mark on my Zoom screen. I'm assuming those are emojis. Well, that already happened for me yesterday. Rupture, but necessary. Oh, Aries. So Alejandra, your Aries moon, remember in the Diamond Codes when I left you a message and I was like, I think we're missing the spice. Like, I think we're missing a big part of you because the Libra energy has gotten so dominant, which is like, my voice is so beautiful and I care for you and my heart chakra. And it's like this, like, song, like, I want to just sing this song when I think about your energy. But then you have these other placements that it's like, but sometimes, that song is the song of a siren, and I'm going to make your ship crash up against this brick, or not brick wall, this stone wall, and we're going to fall into the darkness of the sea, and we're going to do some deep work. Like, I think that rupture of teaching you a lesson is about, like, bring some of that, like, bring some of that grit and bring some of that, I don't know, whatever you want to bring, but I feel like there's a little rage that could be really beautiful to say, like, I'm not afraid to say this because I've been there. They are hearts. Okay, Allison. I felt like they were something beautiful, but I'm like, question mark, question mark. You're like, I'm a rising Cancer? Like, you know that. You know that, right? Um, okay, so Cancer, let me feel. I feel like I'm missing something though. There's something that was coming through a couple days about Cancer and Jupiter. Expansion, um, ownership for our emotions. So Cancer is so moody. I'm so moody. I like often need a snack. I think like I just forget to eat and I just get like I will change personalities within two crackers. It is crazy. And so I think that when you think of Cancer energy, the moodiness is something that hopefully Aries, Saturn and Aries is going to be make us be a little bit more responsible for and realize our emotions don't need to be known to the room. You know? Like we might be having a moment and when we walk into a room and we're growing, we're expanding. So that's not always comfortable and then something triggers us, we usually want validation right away. So we're going to go find somebody to tell what happened to us. We get validation and then we have a team and then we kind of like are like, can I expand? What happens when we are more sovereign about that and we're like, I don't need to repeat any of this. Like, why don't we only try to repeat the good? Why don't everything else, why don't we just say, you know what, I'm going to put that in my pocket for later. I'm going to put that in my pocket and talk to somebody that's going to help me navigate it. I'm going to put that in my pocket and go wash my hands and let it go down the drain and look at myself in the eyes in the mirror and say, that's not you anymore. You don't need to be validated because you think somebody doesn't like you because you're actually psychic and know that they're talking shit about you. You don't need validation. They don't like you, whatever. Move on. It's just, we don't need validation anymore. And the Cancerian energy is going to turn up our psychic ability. It's going to turn up our empathy. It's going to turn up everything. And so you needing to know that is making your emotions affect the room when they don't need to. And this takes practice. Like, don't judge yourself for it, but just track yourself, watch how much validation you need around your emotions because you haven't claimed. I am an empathic psychic being and I am in emergence with other people's energy when I am in a room with them. And sometimes it hurts. It physically hurts me because I know that everyone doesn't like me. And the more that I bloom and the bigger that I get and the more expanded I am and the more in my truth I am, I will agitate people because I am doing the thing that they fear the most. It's inevitable. And so this is just a reminder, like, wait and talk about it in environments where people can relate to you and say, I've been there. I had a conversation this week with somebody, and what I realized that not only other people do, some of my clients do, I do it. So this is like a thing we all do. But we will invest in like therapy, counseling, coaching, mentorship, whatever it is, and we will show up and we will already know what we want to talk about and we'll almost just want to be witnessed in mentoring ourselves. Like it's like I want you to be proud of me on what I discovered about me. And that's fine. That's cool. And I get psychic downloads either way, but what I realized is I had a conversation today where somebody or this week where someone came up and they were messy. Like calling names like shadow shadow shadow. They were in their shadow and they were in the like just the shit. And I loved it because with that is where you can extract so much wisdom because I'm not going to judge you. Like I've been there. And so if we can get more comfortable with, ooh, I know this side of me. Nothing's wrong with me. I know the right environment that I can talk about it because I'm being judgy, I'm being mean. I am not emotionally elegant in this scenario. That is actually, I think, how we evolve faster. Instead of, I don't really want to let anyone know that I was thinking that because it's going to make me look evil or bad or unevolved. And so we hide it. And that's why they call it a shadow. And so it's almost like, why don't we just have a shadow pocket and say, every time anything comes up, and we're going to say, I'm going to put you in my little shadow pocket. And when I'm in a safe environment, then I'm going to say, can I dump out this jar? Because this is how I behaved this week. And I want to make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do for myself to become better, have thicker skin, not get my Cancer claws out, even though like it's like a Cancer, I feel like is like, I'm expanding. Like it's just gonna start like clipping people and getting so mad at anybody and everybody that's in their way of expansion. And Aries is like, do it. like, oh my God, yes, like cheering you on. So you have to be aware of that because yes, we're going to expand, yes, we're going to grow, but we could actually do it with less damage. We don't want to leave like everybody cut and limbless after we're done with this cancer season of expansion. Okay. All right, so this is going to be your homework. I would love for you to write a letter and say, Dear Cree, Dear Terry, Dear Allison, Dear Abby, Dear Mac, Dear Sherry, Dear Anna, dear whoever is going to be watching this call, and say, you are invited. And I want you to just practice, just whatever, just channel write. You can say something really small at first, and I want you to say everything you're invited to. You are invited to being a best-selling author. You are invited to a season of French linen and light silk and smells of lavender. You are invited to endless amounts of fine champagne being bought for you. Like you are invited to a season of bubble baths and free dinners. You're invited to go pick out a new cat from the pet store. Whatever, just write whatever you want. It doesn't matter. This is not about timeline. This is about playing and getting those parts of yourself excited again. Like an invitation is exciting. It's not weight. And the only reason that it has become weight in this society is because of the obligation of being somewhere that is not supporting our expansion. You wouldn't feel weight about an invitation if you really wanted to go. But we wanted to be validated for so long. We wanted to be liked for so long. We wanted to be included for so long that we've put the wrong meaning on what an invitation is. And so think about it, right? Right. Like what was an invitation to me when I was 6? What was it to me when I was 12, when I was 20, when I was 30, when I was 40, now? And see what's changed. And then think, what do I want an invitation to mean to me? And do I ever want to go out of obligation? Or do I want to have a voice? And do I ever want somebody to come to my thing out of obligation? Do you want somebody coming to your house because they're like, ugh, I want her to be mad at me? It's like, bitch, stay home. Like, I want people like, I cannot wait to come, but always be like 5 minutes late if you're coming to my thing. I'm like, when people like show up early, I'm like, no, I had 3 minutes. I'm like in the middle of applying lipstick. But these are things we have to think about. We really truly have to think about these things or we're just unconscious. And I don't think that, we want to be unconscious anymore. It's always about extracting a little bit more truth, a little bit more authority, a little bit more sovereignty, a little bit more identity. And that's what brings in an abundant life, a magnetic life, the life you want. It's I want to say it's that simple, but it's simple when you understand it. It's hard to navigate through the pain and the wounding and the trauma that's in the way. Because everything to get to that point is going back and realizing, well, why did I stop believing that? It's like because somebody made you believe you weren't worthy. You weren't good enough. You weren't smart enough. You weren't pretty enough. You got taken advantage of. You were harmed. You were hurt. And that is heartbreaking, but it's also all of our stories. And so, what are we going to do about it? And we have to take responsibility for it. And then we have to take the time to celebrate ourselves for it. And that's what I love this work is I am not afraid to do deep work, but I certainly prioritize celebrating it. So thank you guys for being here. I'm going to cheers you because I really want a drink of this. And then I'm going to see if there's any questions that you guys have. So the questions that I would invite you to think about are what questions would like be on your heart that don't involve the story that would potentially like serve the collective. And so when we think about a question, we think about like what is getting in the way. And you might ask like a how to, because it's hard. It's hard to start changing things. And just try to think of something, and if nothing comes up, that's totally fine. But I want to just open it up because this is a fun conversation, but it's also a very big conversation. And yes, I'm like, do things differently, try to change up your routine, like journal on this thing. But there are blocks. Like we all have things that are, right now, that are heavy on the heart or busy in the mind. And I'd just love to speak to you guys about it and see if I can help you in any way. And if nothing comes through, I will just say that nothing's coming through. But you can't ask a wrong question. And if something personal comes through for you, I will of course speak to that. But I would just love to open it up, and you can raise your hand. You can raise your physical hand or your electronic hand. I see that Abby has a beautiful friend that I have not met. Hello. So you're more than welcome to join us in that. And I'm just going to open it up, see if anybody has anything that they want to ask on the context of the invitation. Yes, Abby.
Good evening, good afternoon. This is my friend Tindy, and we are going out to celebrate her birthday.
Amazing. Happy birthday. Thank you for joining us.
What a gift. Thank you all. She's a beautiful human. So my question is, in regards to making those shifts and those changes, and inviting that into our lives and our nervous systems and our spaces, do you have some recommendations for integration for those changes once they start like landing, and then how to anchor that new sort of movement forward in our spirits?
Yeah. So integration is interesting, and I think it depends, I want to say, on the dominance of the element of your chart. And so and this could be different, so just relate to what feels good to you. But like, I'm dominantly water. So if I'm dominantly water, my integration usually needs to be a lot of release through water. And so when I'm really changing a lot, I prioritize taking baths like multiple times a week, because I release so much emotion, and I really allow myself, I do not hold back any tears. Like, there's seasons where I'm like, I swear my eyes are just watery because I'm just constantly that emotional. But if you are dominantly air, an integration is going to be a lot of cognitive support. So talking, just talking, venting. You can talk to yourself, you can hire a coach, channel writing, but there's just a lot that needs to be processed. And I feel like the more that you talk out loud and hear yourself, whether it's in front of somebody or just allow yourself to continue moving the air. And I think it helps when you're walking, like moving, and then speaking, because it it's like you want to create safety in everything's okay. Like, I'm talking about this and I'm talking about this and I feel crazy and all of it's okay and I can have many opinions and I'm just moving and it's moving energy. And then like an earth sign is going to really want to be around nature. Like they are attuned to the frequency of earth, and they need to be with animals, they need to be outside, they need to be putting their bare feet on the earth, they need to be touching trees. Now we can all benefit with all of this, but like integration is a very sensitive time, because the default is something's wrong with me. Abandonment wounds become really loud, and so you feel alone and you feel like something's wrong with you. And so you want to be making sure that the higher self of you is making a priority to nurture yourself, and you're going to feel nurtured in the way of, I think, the dominance of your element. So I'm going to feel nurtured if I feel safe crying and emoting. Air sign is going to feel nurtured if they can speak about anything and everything and not be judged. An earth sign is going to feel nurtured if they're connecting with the land. Um, a fire sign is going to feel nurtured if they can take out aggression, if they can scream, if they can go to a rage room, if they can break things, if they can build a relationship with anger, if they can build a relationship with not shaming themselves for being too loud, too much, too big. And so I think that that is something that's really important because of how we have sort of been like raised in a box. There's this like way that we should be, and way that we should handle ourselves. And when you change, everything gets really loud and big and messy. And so we have to think like, okay, this isn't going to be forever. I'm not going to cry forever. I'm not going to sound chaotic forever. I'm not going to want to run away in the forest forever, maybe. But I'm not going to be reactive and rageful forever. But I need to do it now because I want to teach my inner child that it's okay to have this emotion. It's okay to release. And if as much as it's suppressed, when you open that door, it's, you know, it's like opening Pandora's box. And so I think that that is something to really, again, get to know your chart if that is something you're interested in. But if it's not of interest to you, then I would just feel like when I am processing, or where I judge myself the most is when what? Do I judge myself the most when I talk too much? Do I judge myself the most when I cry? Do I judge myself the most when I am angry? And then that's probably the part where I would start giving myself new love and reparenting. Does that help? Yeah. Yeah. Good. Heather, hello. Oh, sorry. I'll come back to you, Jessica. I saw. Heather, you can go ahead. I think you unmuted.
Just a quick question. When you were talking about Saturn, what did you mean by daddy karma?
Okay, not like not karma from your dad, but I'm glad you asked that. So I don't know why I started saying that. I was in a astrology class at some point. I must have heard it, or maybe I don't know, but thank you for asking that. So a lot of people refer to Saturn as masculine energy, but now I know astrologers that are like, no, Saturn's feminine. Whatever it is a big energy of karma that is like oversees everything. And so it is the energy that comes in and has this like intensity of like, I'm looking around, and it feels masculine to me, but whatever. And it's like, I know where there needs to be improvement. I know where there's room for growth. And so I'm going to handle it. And so if we don't take responsibility to, you know, hold ourselves accountable to mature in certain areas, our life will do it, and it will usually involve Saturn. Does that help?
Yes, I'm very relieved. I thought you were talking about daddy issues, and I was not prepared to do that because I felt like that was last month. We're just getting over it. So thank you. I'm so relieved.
Oh man. Those mama and daddy issues never go away. We all have them. We all have them. Like they are a portal into this world, and we all have them. But you were hilarious, and I'm glad that I could help. Okay, Jessica, I saw that your hand was up.
Hi.
Hi.
So I've seen you once before, but I haven't done this whole situation. So I'm not quite sure what questions I should ask. But one thing I do want to ask is I don't know if I'm making, if you feel like I'm making the right choice with my marriage and family life.
Oh, um, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Usually what I'll do is I'll just feel into you. Um, so it feels like you are exhausted, and it feels like this is something that you wanted to do for like 6 years. Like it feels like a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Mhm.
anything that is in our field for that long is is just requiring the courage, not the confirmation.
Okay.
So there will never be yes, you're doing the right thing, because what is the right thing in life, right? Like we're always learning, and we're always growing, and we're always moving. So if I would ask myself, like, what do I want for myself? And if you want more peace, and if you want more joy, and you want to remember to laugh again, and you want to remember that you matter, and you want to be in an environment where somebody's eye sparkles when they see you, then you have to ask, is the situation I'm in right now supportive of that? And I think that's an easier answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sending you love though.
Oh, thank you.
We'll put some hearts.
Yes.
I'm gonna, where are my hearts? Maybe I don't have because I'm hosting. There, or wait, I do. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
We're giving you hearts. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? I just see your little kitty, Taylor. Hi. Did you raise your hand, Cree? Sorry.
It's more like technical for like, okay, so for the non-astro people, if I want to dive more, can you just say really simply, like, what do I want to look at? Saturn, Jupiter, the house, tell me, like, make it really easy.
Okay. I can do that. Okay, so if you go to the diamond codes, your chart's in there. And so you are probably going to want to watch the video because you're going to have to know what the little sign looks like, or I can help you. But you're going to want to look at the house because the house is so the house is where it is for you. And so that's going to give you the topic. So
I know it's Saturn for me is third house.
yeah, the communication. So if Saturn is coming through your third house, it's going to say, if you don't speak up, we're going to put you in situations where you have to.
Okay.
You know, it's going to say, if you don't speak your truth, we're going to put you in situations where you're going to have to. And that is like, oh, well, what does that mean? You know, what could that possibly mean? And so then you want to say like, well, why am I so scared to speak up? Like, can I beat the karma? And so then we just have this practice of noticing, like, how often do I not speak up? How often do I silence myself? How often do I think what I really, really think is going to be offensive? And just know that like Saturn will come in, you know, Saturn can do some shit like this with Aries. Saturn, you could be frustrated and you could tell somebody at work or tell somebody that you thought was safe. And then they could say what you said and tell everybody. And then somebody's gonna be like, did you say that? And you're gonna be like, well, that wasn't the context I meant it in, but yes. And then they're gonna judge you for it. And it's like, gosh, why couldn't I have just spoke that in a more eloquent way where I was still communicating what I wanted to, but I didn't say it in what I thought was a safe environment when I was in my shadow.
Gotcha. So how does the Aries piece come in?
Because Aries is the one that's gonna light it on fire and not have any grace. So it's just
And that's because that's the month that we're in?
no, because Aries rules your second house or third house. So Aries in the third house, you're always going to be a little spicy. That's probably why you're scared to speak up.
Okay, I get it now because I just like I don't know this stuff very well, so I did a quick
That's okay.
Google.
Yeah.
And it basically said everything that I had journaled about in Bloom, and then when you gave us in the diamond codes that prompt, and I was like, my words hurt people. This is what I know.
So that's the belief. Okay. That's the belief. So like Aries in the third house, there's probably a belief of when I speak my truth, it hurts. But then there could be a belief that's like, when I speak my truth, I awaken people and initiate people into a whole new paradigm and they pay me for it. Like it's like, you know, like you could be really profitable in having that like authority in the way that you communicate. And I'm only speaking to you this way because I know like what your 10th house is and what your line of work is. And, you know, and so your Aries is always going to be in the third house. That does not change. But
Gotcha.
Saturn moving through there is a transit. And then when Saturn moves through there as it is, it's going to stir things up to say, you need to remember that you have Aries in the third house.
Love it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions before we bring our happy hour to a close? Oh my gosh, it would be exactly an hour and 1 minute.
Oh, do you want to go then?
Oh, no. I just was looking at the time. I didn't see that you raised your hand, Terry.
I did. So I get a little turned around.
Okay.
Looking at the planets and where the signs are. And when you say that Jupiter is in Cancer, I am to look at where Cancer is.
Yep.
And then where Jupiter is.
Jupiter is going to move into Cancer on the 9th. So it's not quite there yet. And
Okay.
so where
do I look at my house placement where my Jupiter is?
Nope, you look at where Cancer is.
Okay. And
So
just
we're-
know that where that Cancerian energy is, Jupiter's just gonna expand it and blow it
Yeah.
up in
Yeah.
the face.
Where's Cancer in your chart?
In the 6th house. It's in my it's my north node.
Oh, good. So that's going to be really, really amazing. And that's going to also bring in like huge expansion around the way that you lead yourself in your daily routines. It could possibly bring expansion around your work and what you offer, or maybe if you want to be of service in a way, it's going to bring expansion for body because 6th house is nervous system and body. And your north node, I mean, that's really, really beautiful because that is your purpose.
Been feeling a lot of this. Yep.
Good, good, good.
Okay, so then Saturn in Aries.
Mhm.
I'm gonna look at where my Aries placement is, which is
Yeah.
my 2nd house at 0 degrees. But my house is ruled by Pisces, so then there's an effect.
No, you look at where's Aries in your chart? What house does Aries rule?
Um, why can't I find Aries? No, Aries doesn't rule any house. It's not a house ruler for me.
So
It's
are you looking at so what is your rising sign?
Aquarius,
Aquarius, and so
Aquarius rising and sun.
usually I can't see what you're looking at, but when you have a chart, there is a sign that rules every house. Like every single zodiac sign rules a house. And
Yep,
so your 6th house is Cancer, is that right?
yes.
Okay, so then that means
I have Aries in my 2nd house, but
Yes.
it doesn't rule it. Pisces rules into my 2nd house, so it rules my 2nd house. And then Aries ends before I go into my 3rd house, and my 3rd house is ruled by Taurus.
okay. So you're looking at Placidus.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's why I was confused. Okay. So let's just still stay with Aries and Aries energy. So you're saying that Aries is partly in your 2nd and partly in your 1st.
No, it's only in my 2nd.
Okay. So let's just, instead of saying rule, let's just look at where Aries is. And if it's in
Okay.
your 2nd house, then
Yes.
that 2nd house is ruled by Taurus. So that is, about home. It's
Yep.
about your comfort. It's about your relationship to your worth. It's about how you take care of yourself and nurture yourself. And so you can see that this actually has a little bit of piggybacking on the Cancer. So it's like coming home to you, coming home to your body, pulling your energy in, making sure Terry's okay, making sure Terry's taken care of, making sure Terry's needs are met outside of any of the other noise. And if you pay attention to that and do that, then your sense of home, your sense of worthiness, your sense of belonging is going to have a huge upgrade. And then it will no longer ever be able to be toyed with, violated, fluctuated because of all the work that you did on working from the ground level of Taurus energy. But it's Aries, but it's that house of like home, and saying no more. I'm not going to be affected anymore by anything that isn't suitable for my own belonging. Does that resonate?
100%.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I should ask if people are looking at Placidus. I'm really sorry that I got confused there.
Yeah, sorry. No, that's the system.
Yeah, that's what you learned, huh? You learned
Yeah.
on, yeah. Okay, yeah. So this is really about more energetic autonomy, energetic sovereignty around what brings you safety and security, and being non-negotiable around anything that disrupts that.
Okay, that's spot on.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, I just want to ask if anyone has one more question. I just feel like I I want to ask if there's one more, and then we'll bring it to your close so you guys can get on with your Friday. But thank you so much for being here, and just raise your hand or unmute yourself if there's anything else. No? Okay. Okay. No, go ahead, Cree.
I do, but I was gonna say it's so funny because this is about speaking up, and I didn't want to say because I'm like it's dumb. I'm
No.
not gonna do that to myself. It's
No.
very simple. So, because I really want to look into these placements and this energy. If there's nothing inside of that house, so just like Terry said, my 6th house, that's where Cancer is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing in there. Does that just mean it's just not complicated by other stuff? It's just
It's so if you think of the planets as being, so the way that I look at an astrology chart is like it is the energetic expression of when you were born. And so you're in the middle of it, and then everything else is an energy that tells us where's our karma and where's our dharma. And so to answer your question, um, it's still the energetics of that house, and that house still matters. But excuse me, there might not be as much potency there. And so when we have certain placements, like if we have Pluto in Aries, that's going to be really loud. But if you have like Venus in Aries, then that might be a telltale sign of like, oh, Saturn's going to pass over and hit us in our relationships and our matters of the heart. And so it's like an overall scope, but if there's planets, there can be karma or dharma. And depending on what is transiting and what's hitting it, we'll know, is this going to be something that is going to be a blessing, or is this going to be something that's going to be a lesson? But when people are, they say like, oh, I don't have Aries in my chart, because I used to say I don't have any Earth in my chart, but it's just that I don't have like planets in Earth signs. I don't even know if that's actually true. I think I might have one or something, but it's just like, it's like I don't have karma or dharma when it comes to Earth. Like I have a lot of water and I have a lot of fire. And so I think that it's like to make it really simple, we have every sign, we have every house, we will be affected by every season. It's just some seasons are going to have more potency and more lessons involved.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I love this.
Good. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited that like I love it. It's great.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. And so what's going to happen is, just to reiterate, so if you signed up for this, you will get an email. Give me some time to like figure out how this is all going to play out, but just like a couple days. And you are in for the next 6 months of having once a month happy hour where we come and it's just, a happy hour. And then if you have any interest in joining the Diamond Codes and being in that community, until Monday, it's $111 a month. And then you get the crown, and there's like 50 hours of content, and there's communications, and you get 2 questions a month, and there's all kinds of things. If you want to bloom, it's $90 or $111, and that's 4 calls. And then there will be segments of this. I'm not going to use this one, but that are going to then go on the Champagne Channeling podcast. And so it's just something that I've been like kind of initiated to start doing more. And I think that it's going to really strengthen the channel, because I do feel like I get downloads every season. And sometimes I just don't know where to put those. But if I'm in front of you, human design, I'm a generator. So I respond to you. So if you're here, I'm talking to you, I'm feeling you, I'm speaking to you. And so it changes depending on who's here, which is cool, but also like I want people to be here so I have something to respond to. It's like we have to learn ourselves and put ourselves in an environment and set ourselves up for success here. And so this is also part of me setting myself up for success so I can respond to what is needed. And I think what is needed right now is a reminder that you have this opportunity to expand in how you care for yourself, but it's going to be brought to you with some tough, spicy karma if you are avoidant of it. Because at the end of this year, but especially 2 years, you are going to know how to care for yourself unapologetically, hopefully. That would be the goal. Okay. Oh, I love that you guys are happy to see each other. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have an amazing Friday. Happy Venus Day. Go spoil yourself, smell the roses, and I will see you guys all soon, hopefully. Bye.